So today I want to talk about the disconnection that we often feel when we have an abortion. And when I say disconnection, I mean it can be years or months before we realize that um, we are going on a downward spiral, uh, and it's linked to the abortion. So, for example, when I had an abortion, even though I didn't want to have the abortion, I didn't really see a way out. I didn't really see at the time, it was 25 years ago, but I didn't see a compassionate society who would embrace a unwed pregnant woman. I didn't see a family who would embrace an unwed pregnant woman. And so I sort of felt like I had no choice. And so, in a lot of ways, I actually made a decision against my own beliefs and values. And I didn't realize the impact that that was going to have uh, with the decision to have an abortion. I was 25 at the time, and I really was not self aware. And so um, it was. It wasn't long. It was like maybe a month after my abortion there was a shift in my mind, a shift in um, my choices, the people who I was hanging around with, my behavior, um, my whole lifestyle actually started to shift and go towards a negative direction. And also, what happened was I had extreme anxiety for the first time in many, many years. In fact, I didn't even recognize the anxiety feeling at at that it was actually linked to the abortion. Anxiety is kind of like, for me, it's kind of like feeling out of control and not knowing how to get back into control, not having the tools to get back into control. So I tried self help books. I was reading. I was trying to get happy. I was becoming very depressed, and and there was multiple shifts, and in fact, I felt my world was actually going gray. And had I had some light around me, people who were living in the light, and when I say the light, I mean um, people of God, people who believe in something bigger than themselves, who are living a good life, a godly life, not a worldly life. And I'll get into what that looks like in another video, but I didn't have that around me. And so I didn't really have anything to pull from. And so my spiral uh, came on suddenly, and most of my life turned in a negative direction. But on the outside, it didn't look as bad as it was. So I was climbing the ladder of success, but along the way, I was receiving sexual harassment from bosses. So, like, I left one company because of sexual harassment. Then I went on to another one, got sexual harassment again. Would have hives, come home with hives, and I wasn't really um, getting the support that I needed. I kind of thought it was my fault. And back in those days, you didn't really get a lot of support with sexual harassment like you do now. So as I climb the ladder and I move my jobs because of these creepy guys, I ended up getting a great job. At least that's what I thought. As the work got piled on, because they could see, oh, she can do this, she can do that. Oh, look, let's give her some more work. The stress was becoming unbearable, and then the anxiety was even more so. And so what I found I was doing in this 4 years of what I was found I was doing was I was looking for ways to escape the depression. And so I was disconnecting from the actual problem, So I was not attacking the actual source of my problem because I didn't even know that the problem was the abortion. I wasn't able to connect. And in part 2 of this video, we're going to talk about some of the ways that we disconnected in our childhood. So when we do things as adults and that we're not comfortable with, something doesn't feel right for us, we can often disconnect. And for me, I came from I'm adult child of alcoholics, so ACOA, which is actually a thing, which I didn't know. I wish I had of, because what I was doing, I was carrying, not only was I carrying the shame of the abortion, but I was also carrying the shame of my parents' alcoholism. I was constantly carrying shame for other people, and I was constantly feeling shame about who I was. And eventually, that is going to eat you up, and you're going to become angry, and you're going to have outbursts, and you don't know what they're from, and you'll cry, and you'll feel depressed, and you don't know what it's from, because you're not getting to the source, to the root of the problem. And for me, it took 25 years to find the root of my problem, and I don't want you to suffer like I did, but I have all the tools. I know exactly what was necessary to get to the root of the problem, because you can talk about the root of the problem, but it's not connecting. It's not connecting to here. And I can help you to get to this connection. And I'm looking forward to us chatting more about this. And so if you're interested in joining my Facebook group for self-compassion after abortion, please find the details below, and we'll be able to connect with like-minded people and help each other overcome these feelings of lack of self-worth and freedom from shame and freedom from the pain that we're carrying. We can still miss the child. We can still feel I regret my abortion. However, we need to know that that child is safe with God. And if you don't believe in God, this probably isn't going to be the right thing for you. But because I believe in God, and because a lot of other people believe in God, I was completely healed from the shame and regret. And sure, it would be nice to have my child today, but I am not the person I was 25 years ago. Now, I would have made a great mother. At 25, maybe not so much. Okay? So we have to forgive ourselves, and we have to learn to forgive other people too. Okay? So we'll see you in part 2 of this.